some behind the scene footage and thoughts on the making of Growing Calm. When I started my hike, I didn't realize how windy it was going to be. So I didn't do much talking like I normally do on my hikes and my hiking videos. I did my talking at home. I just got a tripod for my GoPro and I was excited to try it out because normally I'm really shaky when I hold it, so I really enjoyed looking at these wildflowers in the breeze. Not too far into the trail and it started to get really wet, which I anticipated. This trail is almost always underwater, but when I came to this spot I thought that it would be a great place to use as a prop with my sunglasses and the light and the reflection, going into the light or going into the darkness, either way. I really like the light when I'm hiking. I think it's, trail magic anytime I see it. But hiking in South Florida is very, very wet. Almost every hike I'm hiking in the mud or through the water, which is why I hike barefoot. So highly recommend it if it's warm enough to do so. So I found a little side trail I'm going to explore. I think I have ants on my feet. Definitely going to have to take some Benadryl because I'm allergic to ants. Yeah. Sometimes when you're hiking through water, the ants are floating on the water and then they climb on you. It doesn't happen often, but it can happen. Part of exploring. Explore is my word for the year, by the way. And not just exploring, outside, but also myself, my business I'm growing, my healing journey, creating things, exploring things I haven't tried before, like making a film. So it looks like this just goes to the road. Now I know. More behind the scenes. I've come to a short spot in the trail that's underwater, and I'm going to try to circumnavigate it the best that I can. This is hiking in Florida. I did my filming at a connector trail at Savannah's Preserve State Park, which is one of my local state parks in Florida. And the Savannahs is basically a grassy wetland. It's a marsh. And in Florida, there's the dry season and the wet season, and this particular park is pretty much always, underwater. So expecting to get my feet wet and being challenged is why I came here. Putting myself within the window of tolerance, but also stretching my level of, being comfortable and uncomfortable, being right on the edge of discomfort is a great way to push myself and widen my window of tolerance, which is why I hike, and especially hike through mud and water. But it's also beautiful, a beautiful place to see birds. So hiking in Florida, especially South Florida where I live, can be very wet. And sometimes I can't resist just actually getting into the marshy areas. It's refreshing. No better way to be present in this very moment. Quite often I come across lily pads growing in the trail. Like the trail is just so underwater that there's lilies growing in the middle of the trail. And I always think, what would my son do? He would hike through it. So that's what I do too. So this particular portion of the trail has been underwater for most of the year. Florida has 2 hiking seasons, the wet season and the dry season. Winter is supposed to be the dry season, but as you can see, the trail and the marsh did you see that frog? The trail and the marsh kind of merge into one, and it is February, so technically this should be dry, and it is drier than say a month or 2 ago, but it's still clearly very wet. And I think for many people, hiking through water in Florida is like a big fear because of alligators or snakes or whatnot. And I chose this particular section of trail because I haven't hiked it in a while because it's been underwater. But I felt like I needed a challenge to face my fears, which is what this is all about, facing my fears in an environment where I feel safe. It helps me to be resilient. So here I was testing the tripod out again. I'm an introvert, super awkward, and yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, but I figured I'd give it a go and see if I was okay with it. I'm not comfortable being on camera to begin with, just because I've been so shamed as a woman with things that have happened to me in my past. But this project especially gave me, I don't know, permission, encouragement to try things out, which is why I challenged myself to do it, and share myself with the world to let other women know that they have the right to be heard, that they have a voice, and you know, if I can share part of my healing with others, that they can do it, you know, as well. And just then I was bending down and picking up a snail. There are these like native apple snails that the birds like to eat, and the shells are really big, but I like to look at them. They're really cool. So this portion of the trail I have never actually been on before, which is surprising. I'm pretty sure this little thing right here leads to a side trail that I have been on, but I'm gonna see where this goes. I'm pretty sure it just goes back to the road again. It looks like it's an access road, but this is an exciting side quest I did not anticipate, so here I am in the present moment, walking in some of my favorite grass ever. Sometimes I follow animal trails to see where they go. This one led to a watering hole. Catching my shadow reminds me to embrace all of myself, because I'm not perfect. I do have PTSD, which can be a daily struggle. So I just have to acknowledge where I am in each moment and accept that. And my shadow is a reminder of that. So my son just called, and I didn't hear because I don't have notifications on my phone, but he we're supposed to hang out like later today, and so I was like, okay, I have all this time to hike before then. And he's like, can you come pick me up now? And I'm like a good hour away from my vehicle. So I am turning around and heading back. I know where I am now, and I'm kind of bewildered because I hiked this trail in this park I've never been on before, and it connected to a trail I hike all the time, and I can't believe I've never noticed it before. And normally I go on, Google Maps and try to get a aerial view of what might be trails. So I'm pleasantly surprised that I have another trail to hike on now. Yeah. Okay, now I'm back to the marsh. Over there is the platform I was going to take a break on, but I don't have time for that now because I get to see my son. So I am heading back through the water and enjoying the view. Thank you for coming along on this hike with me. It's really meant a lot that I can share my life with you. It's just part of my self-care, and I hope that it helps you to find your calm. Passing my footprints on my way back out. Here's a map of the trail where I hiked. You can see it's basically through the marsh. Thanks for coming along.